Well, there it is, a great moment in any sporting action. The national anthems of both our sides. Welcome here to Langford, just north of Victoria in British Columbia, for the America's Rugby Championship 2014 here at Westhills Stadium. Great scenes here as the crowd's building. Canada in the black and red jerseys there. We'll be playing from right to left on your screens. They'll be facing Uruguay. The Teros, a proud nation from South America. For both these teams, the first game of the tournament here. The man in the middle there in the orange jersey is the Scotsman, Lloyd Linton. So he'll be charged with controlling these two teams. Canada having their final huddle. Ray Barkwell there, just off the side of your screen, will be a key figure. My name is Gareth Rees. I'm delighted to be here bringing you action from the ARC. I'm joined by a long-time and great try scorer for Canada, Winston Stanley. Winston, good to have you on board here.
Thank you, Gareth. Great to be here.
Well, kickoff is looming and a big game for both sides. Canada wanting to set the record straight after last year, and Uruguay on somewhat of a high, which we'll talk about in a bit. It's a deep kick from Orencina. Responded Williams with a long kick. McKenzie, sorry. Not in touch. Kicking duel continues with a high one. Good chase from Kyle Bailey. He knocks it back, but Uruguay have secured possession. The big man, Francisco Jimenez, he's the first receiver, but the Canadians deal with him immediately. They're looking to attack the short side, and it's the fullback, Silva. He's gone right through. This is early blood for Canada.
Oh.
Great work from Flag getting back to put a hand on it. And the referee has said there's been a knock on by Blue. I think he missed it. It was Flag who put his hand in there, and Winston, early scenes here with Uruguay almost getting the first blood.
Yeah, I don't think Canada's number 9, Jamie McKenzie, will be very happy with that missed tackle. That led to that opportunity. However, Aaron Flag did extremely well to get back in that passing lane and disrupt potential scoring.
Yeah, the big man from Abbotsford in the number 4 jersey working is all the way back. You see the little Uruguayan scrum half there. Liechtenstein, he's trying to urge his troops on for a big shove here. Canada, 7 meters out from their own line. Jamie McKenzie, the Oakville Crusader, to put the ball in. Referee.
And this will be a telling scrum, Gareth. I mean, right on our goal line, right at the start of the game. I think it's a real a scene setter for maybe how the scrums will go for the rest of the match here.
Yeah, and Uruguay will back themselves just as their cousins from Argentina are proud of their scrummaging record, but our Canada the same with Dolezal and Woolridge in there in the props, both experienced. Dolezal coming back off injury, great to see him out there. Solid platform, and there's a quick pick from Pearson. Back to the kicker, Gordon McCrory, the man from Calgary via Scotland, or vice versa, I should say. Normally a scrum half, an interesting selection here, Winston. They're playing him at fly half in the number 10 jersey, just because of his ability to control the game.
Sure, he's got a lot of experience. He's very comfortable with the ball in his hand, and I think Canada is looking maybe long-term solution at 10.
Yeah, Harry Jones, one of the 10s, is away with the 7s group down in Gold Coast currently. A good offload
Well done.
there from the captain, Kyle Gilmore.
Straight out to the backs.
Pucker, Derek Daypuck, first receiver. This time McCrory puts a boot to it. Gathered well by Uruguay. It's long. McCrory gathers. Midfield to Puck. He's looking to use his educated left boot. It's gone straight to the fly half, filling in the fullback role. That's Arocena. And the kicking continues.
They are certainly in testing out stages at this time, Gareth.
Yeah, McCrory spotting that was a big forward, Seb Pearson inside him. Advantage being played to Canada.
Yeah.
Flag has to move this ball. And what McKenzie does. Blevins, quick hands. Wow, an immediate call against Dolezal for, I guess, going off his feet at the tackle, Winston. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, they're very strict on these breakdown infractions, especially when you're first person there supporting. You've really got to do your best to stay on your feet. If you just fall over the ball, you're preventing a fair contest, and really that's what rugby's all about, is a fair contest for the ball there.
And I suppose one thing as a player, referee Linton there, laying out his stall, if you will, saying this is what I'll accept and this is what I won't. So Canada penalized even though they had possession after a turnover. Uruguay kick downfield. Attacking lineup for them just outside the 22.
I think Canada probably would have wanted to do a little bit better on that turnover ball with their captain doing such a good job of offloading it. Just didn't seem anybody who was really in position to take that ball forward.
Yeah, and there is midfield possession. Matthias Beer, the old Christians member, takes it well, but good counter drive from Canada. Although a missed tackle off the fringes on Pascu.
Oh, he's lost the ball there.
Woolridge does well to scoop it up, and McKenzie's got to punish it with a long, deep kick. A great tactic on turnover.
Well done.
As you know, Winston, after a turnover, often the back three not in position.
Absolutely, and you know, his accuracy was pinpoint there. The kick went right in the 5-meter channel, which has now given Canada a chance to compete for a line out inside the Uruguayan half.
Chris Asmus, the Canadian referee, doing double duty on the touch there. Will be helping the man in the middle when required.
Oh.
Scrappy lineup, Kyle Gilmore. Oh, gathers and bounces. 2 big hits, but finally dealt with by his opposite number, Fernando Pascu. Still Canada possession. McCrory, the late drop to Blevins, the offload. Good work here. Dave Puck in support. McCrory takes a shot himself. Nothing on there, but look, he's finding space. Flag with the offload. Woolridge tucks it under his arm. Perhaps it could have gone, but still Canada. McKenzie claiming there's a penalty. Hands in the ruck. The ball's definitely slowed up. In fact, it's stolen. An awkward looking kick. Straight to fullback K, the local boy from Duncan. The referee says that pass is forward. So frantic action here.
I'm not really sure what happened in that breakdown there to have the ball taken out of our hands, but it's unfortunate for Pat K on that forward pass. I'm really excited to see what he can do in open space, and I like to see him playing to the team pattern here, but unfortunately that resulted in a forward pass.
Yeah, Patrick K, the fullback for Canada, the UVic product. His camp is just 20 minutes from here. Sevens player as well, and very exciting on the ball. He needs to find some form here. He wasn't particularly strong for the BC Bears this summer, so he needs to find some rhythm, and he's in at the fullback position. So, Uruguay with the put in. Liechtenstein. The referee not happy, getting a little bit of help from David Smorczewski. Again, the far side touch stretch helping out. The new scrummaging laws requiring stability in a touch, and then the referee asking for the scrum half to put the ball in. Seems to have brought some stability to the scrum play. Canada really want to make amends for last year when they lost the game. They beat Uruguay in this fixture, but lost to the US and lost to Argentina. So some of the senior players taking it upon themselves. This time Canada penalized for an early push. Have to wait until that ball is to be presented. So
yeah, the rules are if you are presented a penalty at the breakdown, you've got to take that quick tap a meter from the mark, and it looked like the number 8 for Uruguay tried to have a go a bit early.
Interesting tactic here. Winston sorry to cut in, but it's a free kick, so they're putting the ball in the air, not a penalty. Good take.
Oh, great take.
From Seb Pearson. Oh, there's a cheap shot from Kessler. We'll keep an eye on that. The Canadian bench are not happy at all, as it seemed to be a shot to the head. Daypuck on his left foot. The wind is at the back of the Canadians currently, going from right to left on your screens. Uruguay comfortable moving the ball wide. This man is dangerous in the green boots, and he's done well to attract the defenders and release. A good breakout from Uruguay. That's Freitas who keeps it inside, but Puck gets his hands on the ball.
Great opportunity.
He's there immediately.
Great
the referee needs to look after him there. The man's in an offside position, affecting play. A bit of pushing and shoving after the whistle. It's Sean Ferguson throwing his not considerable weight around.
Well, like in most games, you know, all referees are different, Gareth, and they all have their own things they see and things they want to pick out. So I think it's up in the air right now which way each of these breakdowns is going to go, but it looks like he's willing to let things happen on the floor there.
Yeah, and you saw the ARC games last year, Winston. Already it looks like a Canadian side a lot more athletic, a little bit more desire there, and they're really showing some passion, and seems to have been around their camp this week.
Yeah, and it seems to me in the first 5 minutes here that they're a little more committed to field position and kicking than they were last year and even the year before that.
Yeah, perhaps wisely using McCrory and Daypuck with a strong right and left boot, respectively. This time, Barkle to throw in the line out. A bit slower. Evan Olmsted, the man from Australia.
That's a very well placed kick.
Beautiful kick. And Ferguson does well to corral him into touch. And Barker wants the ball, rightfully so. It's their line out. And this is good. You like to see this kind of niggle if you're a Canadian fan. There's Cal Bailey not taking a back step.
Certainly Barkwell enjoys this part of the game and is a bit of a throwback in that regards.
Well, and as you hear, there's not many Canadian fans that don't like it. They love to see and get in the face of the opposition. Some of the teams we were fortunate enough to play on, that was a big vanguard of the players playing in front of us. They wouldn't take a back seat, and I think Canada, and under Kieran Crowley, he's trying to get that back again. I know the team had a very tough camp, a lot of contact and 5-a-days the boys were claiming at one point, so some hard work's been done. So this is the release point for these Canadian players.
Sure. That's unfortunate that lineout was called back. That was quite a nice throw and catch right at the back there.
Yeah. I think the referee sensing the temp energy building a bit here. Just settling both captains in, having a word with them. So, Barkwell again, 25 meters out. It's bobbled by Bailey and gathered by Jimenez. The left foot box kick again from the scrum half. Ferguson gathers, a great open field runner. He does well there to avoid the first tackler.
Looks like there's some space out wide here, Gareth.
There is Kay's left foot, but he sliced that. It's gone straight out, and the Uruguayan bench are delighted. And we should talk about Uruguay. What a monumental day for them. Earlier this morning, down in Montevideo, their full team beat Russia 34-13. So with the 27-all match that was played a week ago in Siberia, Uruguay will now qualify. And congratulations to our friends down there for the 2015 World Cup in England, and a huge moment for them. And we'll see if these players can build off the energy. That game was on 11 a.m. local time, and this game kicked off at 4:30. And there goes Kyle Gilmore, showing his athleticism. Good hands from the backs. Blevins is on the ball. He's dragged down. Canada needs quick ball, and they won't get it as Freitas slows it up and, in fact, steals the ball. Excellent defensive work from him. Canada not guilty of not cleaning out there, but it's still in play. McCrory trying to perform the miracle there.
That's a little unfortunate there with the out of bounds, but really nice hands by Blevins and Daypuck there to attack the outside, which is something they're going to need to do. Probably the two most experienced players on the field for Canada at this time.
Yeah, I wonder if Blevins maybe could have kept that alive and kept on his feet a bit longer, but as it was, a good tackle from Uruguay, and the Canadian support a little slow getting there. Yeah. Do have an injury and a boot issue down on the field, as you can see there.
Yeah.
So getting back to the World Cup, Uruguay in. Great for them. You know, will this team be able to build off that? These are obviously the players not selected to play in that qualifying game. What do you think the impact will be on this game?
Well, I think if they can, 4 or 5 of them can really step up and dominated their position, they're going to be in a good spot to challenge for a World Cup starting spot. Obviously, the starting team is not here, so this is their chance to show the coaches that maybe they were overlooked a little bit.
And we will have a few players arriving later in the week to join in the America's Rugby Championship action from Uruguay. And of course, Canada in the same boat. This is a World Cup year. Coach Kieran Crowley with this Canadian ARC team. So every chance to impress the head coach of the National 15 team. The drive comes from Uruguay. A little scrappy, a little loose. Canada able to disrupt it. And finally, penalty against Canada for not coming in from the back, coming in the side. They look at a quick tap, but it's not to be.
That's always sort of a tricky one at these driven mauls, Gareth. I mean, as far as entry points and whatnot. So, you have to trust Lloyd's word on that and hope that he maintains and keeps it consistent throughout the game.
Great to see the local fans here. The big man with the gray hair at the left of your screen over the fence hands to Goody, the great James Bay man and Canada's captain in the 1977 World Cup.
Legend.
Yeah, good to see rugby on his doorstep. It's international rugby. You know, we had Bobby in the booth before this, and we were both saying, as you are, Winston, the Victoria boys, isn't it great to have international rugby here to watch through the ARC Championship?
Oh, absolutely. I had the honor of playing 66 games for Canada, but not one of them in Victoria in front of my friends and family. So I would have really relished this opportunity, and hopefully these guys are.
As it is now, it is Favaro in the green boots, putting pressure on himself with the green boots. You got to be good if you're wearing those.
Well, not too many players wear black boots anymore, Gareth. So
I wouldn't know.
I think that's the way it goes these days.
On the far sideline, it's a low trajectory, but he's hit it well. Straight down the middle. So first blood to Uruguay. 3 points for the penalty, and perhaps against the run of play, Winston?
I think so. You know, I think if we're looking at the set pieces, I think we've done well in our scrums and won all their lineouts. So I think probably a little disappointed at this point not to be A, ahead, and B, in their half.
Pat Kay to restart here. He'll be looking to get some height on this. Perhaps interesting, he's going, the wind is at his back, perhaps going from left to right a little bit on your screens. He's maybe kicking with the wind, and that's going to force it long. In fact, he's gone right to the corner there. A little tough, our cameraman working hard to get that. Good shot. And a beautiful left-footed clearing kick. Gathered by McCrory, keeps it in play. Pearson still going. He drops the lumber. Let's see if the support can get there this time. And it does. Blevins looking to change direction. Golzell on the ball. He draws his defender well. Bailey. Good bounce off the Uruguayan tackler. McCrory to Barkwell. Good defense from Uruguay.
Oh.
That ball knocked forward by Dave Pupka. The referee's going to come back.
Looks like an offside there, Gareth.
Yeah, and he's taking the watch off. He's going to have a word. What might he be talking to the Uruguayan players about?
Oh, he's probably saying they've been warned once or twice for being offside, and next one's maybe a card. You know, it's sometimes a way for a less skilled team to put pressure on a higher skilled opposition by cheating on that offside line a little bit and jumping right in their face before they have a chance to make a move.
Yeah, and I think the penalty may have been for a shoulder tackle where he didn't wrap his arms. Maybe the tackle on Barkwell. So that'll give Gordon McCrory a chance from 40 meters out. McCrory, who had a few shots this summer, got his first cap this summer for Canada. I say the man via Scotland, a real bright light coming from Calgary, from the Hornets in Calgary, and obviously plays his CRC rugby with the Prairie Wolfpack. Very meticulous man, practices goal kicking, his scrum half passing, and this is right on the edge of his distance range, I think, but he does have a bit of wind at his back, so let's see from 40 meters how McCrory goes.
Prior to the match, I was up watching Canada warm up and watched Gordon take a few kicks, and certainly didn't look short on leg to me, Gareth.
Yeah. Clean strike. Looks good. It looks great for Canada fans. It's down the middle. So, scores all even.
I had a few words with McCrory also about playing at 10. I think this is his first game for Canada at the 10 spot, and you know, he sounded excited and trying to get his focus on attacking the line and bringing other players into the game.
Yeah, obviously Canada has some depth at the scrum half position. Not only Jamie McKenzie is playing in this game, but Phil Mack, Sean White, both on seventh players as well. Phil Mack currently injured, and so the coach Kieran Crowley looking to manage his resources there. And there is McKenzie. Oh, he got a nice little block from Pearson to get himself some time to kick. But it's Uruguay in attack.
Ooh.
Silva, he's brought down. He goes for the long reach, but recognized.
Well done, Pearson.
By Pearson. Knock on
call.
McKenzie's
How
going to
did
be
he miss
furious.
that call?
Whoa! And the referee's gone time off again. I think that was more of an awkward tackle. There was no intent to dump there. It does happen in the modern game with two big forces going at it.
I'm really not sure how the referee missed the hands in the breakdown there.
Yeah, McKenzie was asking. Now, advantage was being played, Winston, so it will be an Argentina advantage from the knock-on that was signaled. But if he feels there's foul play here, let's watch it here on the replay. Great coverage from our guys. He does kind of jump to get the ball. in no way puts him down dangerously. Barkwell pops up looking for the call, obviously the ultra competitor. But I don't see that as the penalty. The player was put down safely. I think probably the opposite interpretation from Lloyd Linton.
It'll be
interesting. To the captain.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, these dump tackles have sure raised a lot of eyebrows as cards being given. So Uruguay fortunate not to be given a card on this.
Well,
instance.
They spotted some space on the near side, Winston. He was unmarked. Oh. So good cover there from Favaro. But it was Dan Moore, the Balmy Beachman, uncovered, and that's the confidence you get from a guy like McCrory at 10. He saw there was space and he went for it, and I think Kieran Crowley really likes to see that in his players. Didn't come off this time, but was very close.
Very enterprising stuff there, looking to crossfield kick for a try right off a penalty, which is something you don't see very often in a rugby game.
Well, there's the line out. Solid possession, but again, Pearson, who's been really sharp in the first few minutes here, been very busy. He gets his hands on it. He's perhaps guilty of killing the ball there. And he may get some treatment for it, but good on him. He's a thorn in the side of the Uruguayans at the moment.
Yes, he and Captain Kyle Gilmore have certainly stood out so far.
And here he is. Moore infield. That's a looping pass, but Pearson, as we said, open field. He's as good as anyone in the country. Great nice offload. Daypuck. Referee's going to bring that back as a forward pass. But what a line taken by Daypuck. And the short ball, I'm not sure who gave it to him. Beautiful little pass.
Looked like a really nice switch from Ferguson to the open side wing there. Here, and we'll show it right here where there's a great switch, breaks through the half tackle, and then...
Oh, full credit to Blevins.
Yes.
He just pops that one in the hole like a bullet out of a shotgun. Daypuck goes, but unfortunately forces that last pass.
Just lost the handle there, hey Gareth.
Yeah, but that's really enterprising stuff and great support play. You know, Derek Daypuck is not a young man, as you know, Winston, very well. He's 36 years old, but he's been the best player in the CRC this year. He's been dominated games for the Ontario Blues. He's led them to their 4th consecutive title. As we see the free kick here against. Something's happened there. The referee has called not straight in the feed, and Canada have gone quickly, and Uruguay weren't 10, so my mistake there. Canada were given a not straight feeding call, a free kick, so they can't kick a penalty. Barkwell's signaling he'd like a scrum. Gilmore will make the decision as the captain, and he has called for a scrum. So what's often there? You've captain sides, Winston. What's the discussion there when you're 10 meters out?
Well, I think it's either a quick tap to one of your hard-running forwards, or if you want a scrum like that, to try to assert some dominance at the set piece and psychologically get into these Uruguayans. And
you like to see Barkwell, your scrum leader there, wanting to take on this pack. And let's see if with Dozell, Woolridge, and Flagg and Bailey in the second row, they can get the shunt on Uruguay.
Oh, it's always a little harder to be dominant on your own scrum, as you know, as the hooker's not fully engaged.
Yeah. Especially with the new scrum laws with them having to hook. Nice thing about, again, Ray Burkwell, not the youngest player on the Todd, got his first cap at 32 years old. When the senior players are having to relearn to strike because the laws changed in the front row, Barkwell was absolutely fine because when he started playing, those were the laws back then 10 years ago. So he was able to teach Ryan Hamilton, a few of the youngsters, how to actually hook in the scrum.
You know what, Gary, I think it's a great direction for Rugby Canada to bring in some experienced players like Derek Daypuck, like Barkwell there, to add a little bit of leadership and direction to a lot of young athleticism, which we covet so greatly.
There it is, Pearson off the back of the scrum. Canada being driven back, but get there in numbers. There's a blue body on the ball.
How is he not offside there?
Oh, McCrory in his accustomed scrum half position. Sees the overlap. Canada again have forced the pass and it hasn't gone to hand.
You know, I talked about this before the game with some of the players about holding onto the ball, and that seemed to be a focus of theirs. So I don't think they're going to be overly excited about some of these offloads in the tackle that they're forcing here.
Yeah, so McCrory saw the space on the outside. Kay gave the offload to Ferguson, and he was just trying to stay in the field. So
I suppose
perhaps a bad decision to go that close to the sideline. It looked like Canada was in. Interesting, McCrory popping up in the 9-hole there, even though he wears the 10 jersey, as you see.
And that's something else I think we're going to see a little bit more of today, Gary. I think he'll pop into 9 and Jamie will drop into 10 when when it suits them. And that's quite a strength for a team to have two players that can play either position.
Something we've seen in French rugby for many years. Two players that can be that key pivot. And generally, your good athletes are there. So the scrums have been scrappy so far, it's got to be said. Uruguay, remember, penalized for feeding the ball. Is not putting it down the middle in the last scrum. So Canada being able to put some pressure on them. Again, experienced men in Woolridge from Lindsay and Dolezal from London.
Unfortunately for the fans at home and those in the stands that aren't too up on the front row shenanigans, this is a really tough one to sort of watch and understand what's happening, because unless you've been in there, I don't think you really know what's going on in there.
And neither of us have been in there, have we?
Neither of us have been in there.
By choice. There's a big scrum. They turn it, left shoulders up, and
nice.
They get the penalty. So just reward for all that work with Mike Shelley on the scrum machine, all that work at the camp. And again, an interesting decision for Gilmore. Will he take the points? Maybe another scrum, and there it is. That's reward for his forwards. They got the penalty call. Now then they get the chance to have a go.
Absolutely, and if that same scrum happens again and Uruguay gets penalized for malfeasance, then there could be a penalty try awarded here.
Yep, the pressure's on Uruguay now. De Mula and Jimenez were well beaten on the shunt there.
Yeah, Jimenez looks like he can handle his own there.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
But maybe feeling the pressure and wanting to engage a little bit earlier than the rest of his team wants to.
I really like Barkwell's body language here. He's right up on that line. He's calling for the scrum. He wants to take these guys on.
Do you see this ball going straight out to the backs, or do you think if they don't push it over that the 8 will pick?
No, I think Pearson will have a go, and at least they'll try and keep it in. They should do, as you said, after that initial shunt. That'll put pressure on Uruguay. Another penalty for coming up. This time Pearson does go. Again, the youngster perhaps ill-advised. And a try there for Barkwell. I'll eat my words. The quick ruck, the quick service from McKenzie goes to the ever-present Barkwell, who rides the first tackle and then flops over the line.
Well deserved. You know, he's a hard-nosed player. He came around on a great line off of 9 there and found a tiny little space between two defenders, which I'm sure he will be ecstatic about.
Well, there's Pearson. He does well. Great support from his teammates. And there's Barkwell on the move. He calls for it. He gets low. Look at that. Under the arms. And the Uruguayans found wanting. That's real hunger for the line.
That's something that Uruguay is really going to need to work on goal line if they want to hold out Canada. I mean, we're going to be pressing. Canada will be pressing their line repeatedly this game. And
yeah, I thought Pearson was maybe guilty of a quick tap when they had Uruguay in that pressure situation where the referee was probably going to go to penalty try. But the reward is there, and the conversion's relatively easy. About 20 meters in from the sideline. Gordon McCrory on his right foot. Clean strike. So another conversion to take it. 10 points for Canada, 3 for Uruguay. The early lead here, much to the delight of the crowd.
You know, support is so important in rugby, Gareth, and maybe that ill-advised quick tap was nullified by the captain, Kyle Gilmore's quick support, being there for his man, able to keep on his feet and produce a nice quick ball for Barkwell to run onto.
And credit those tight 5, the boys winning the scrum penalties. Uruguay again going long. This one may be too long and too far. Ooh, taken by Moore. Could have put a foot in touch and caused that kick to go back, I think. Uruguay off their feet at the ruck. Roll away, says the referee. There's the experience. Daypuck has handed the ball with his left foot, but he's given it to McCrory with his right foot, as it's a fairly narrow angle. Perhaps some of those kind of decisions have been missing from some of the Canadian play. So, Canada rewarded 40 meters out from their own line here at Westhills Stadium. This is game 2 of the America's Rugby Championship. Argentina earlier victorious, 41-14 against USA. But now it's Canada with possession this line out against Uruguay, up 10-3. Daypuck carries into the midfield. Flag, first receiver, just lifted his head may have knocked that ball on, and he has. So Aaron Flagg, the big man from Abbotsford, just spent 9 months with the new Plymouth Old Boys down with Canada's forwards coach, Neil Barnes. And good experience for him to play in that competition down in Waikato.
That's huge. I mean, can't think of too many Canadians that have actually gone down and played representative rugby in New Zealand.
No, there's a few down there now. Jason Marshall from Vancouver and Hubert Biden's the props, both playing in the ITM Cup, so that's great to see. And it is one of the challenges for Canadian rugby, as you and I know, Winston. The players need to go find the best rugby they can so they can serve this Canadian jersey. Good scrummage again from Canada, but Uruguay have it away. Man around. Blevins with a solid tackle on his opposite number, Freitas. The number 8, Castro, lines up. He's met with a tackle. Another big hit from Flagg.
Canadian line is coming up quickly.
Good hands. There's the kicker, Favreau.
What a turnover by Barkwa.
McKenzie sticking in behind. There's no one home. What will the bounce do? Well, goes into touch. And the touch judge is signaling that it's Uruguay ball. So I think the Uruguayan defender did well there, Winston, a situation you're familiar with, to not actually touch that ball and keep possession.
Oh yeah, that's a real tough game to play because you don't want to make the wrong decision there, and you're looking at a try the other way. But I think that all of that comes from Ray Barkwell's brilliant turnover there in midfield.
And look at Bailey getting up on his feet on his own. He steals that. Dolzell goes at the line. Gilmore wisely just sets up and allows the team to regroup. They're working the short side. Dolzell keeps it infield. Barkwell's there again. This is relentless pressure. Flagg's got the ball. He hits Pearson. Good forward support. Now they go wide. McCrory's out there. The late drop again to Daypuck. McKenzie on it. Again, it's knocked out of his hands, and I wonder if the referee may go to his pocket. Not releasing was the call. The tackler not releasing the tackle player. So great energy from the Canadian players, particularly the forwards there, Winston.
Yeah, they're certainly putting the pressure on here, Gareth. They're asserting their physical dominance, and it's pretty evident that some of these Uruguayan players are having to rely on underhanded tactics to slow the ball down.
And Captain Kyle Gilmore has chosen to give the ball to Gordon McCrory. Another 3 points, keep that clock ticking over. It's just after 5 o'clock here on the west coast of Canada. The sun is just going down. Beautiful day in the end, despite some heavy downpours this morning. And Canada are playing with a little bit of wind at their back, so important to get points on the board.
Gilmore's been fantastic today, Gareth.
Yeah,
I think his, on attack and in defense, he's been strong. That's sort of the type of leader you want, somebody who leads by example, and he's certainly doing that today.
McCrory from the other part of Alberta, Calgary, gets 3 more points. So 13 points to 10, and I agree with you, Gilmore, the man originally from St. Albert, playing for the Prairie Wolfpack. He has 2 caps to his name against Portugal in the U.S. in the last 2 years, and really dedicated, and I think he's a man who's had a taste of international rugby. He's just left his job, which is something that these players have to contend to do, to really fully commit for fighting for a spot in the World Cup team. So full credit to him, and he's showing that real effort here today.
Yeah. I had the pleasure of coaching him when he was a 17-year-old for a season, and you could see even then how dedicated and focused he was. It's great to see him earn the captaincy for this game.
McKenzie uses more on the blind side. Looks like he may go to the box kick. Strange call as there's no winger to chase there. In fact, it's Barkle who may make the Uruguayan pay. He actually just pulled up just at the bottom of your screen. Thought we might have an international incident on our hands. But again, that's the kind of relentless pressure you want to see if you're a Canadian fan. That kick has been deemed to have gone straight out from McKenzie.
I think they're saying that he pulled it back inside his 22 before he kicked it.
Yeah.
And that results from where the kick was taken.
So we haven't seen the Uruguayan pack go. There's Kessler, the hooker. He'll be able to get it in. But again, Paley goes up in front. Great defensive work from the Canadians. This time McKenzie able to go straight out, and he does, and gain some solid territory.
Well, the Canadians' record in the on the Uruguayan lineout is just fantastic so far.
Kyle Bailey, the man from PEI, he's done great work at the front, deflecting 2 balls. He's going up again, and there he is. He's done it again. That's remarkable stuff.
And another box kick.
Oh, I think, as we say, Winston, he heard footsteps there. Well, those are the type of plays that come when you get in a team's face. You bring a bit of attitude, I guess is what you would say. Then the other teams start dropping the ball like that.
No doubt. So much of this game is mental, Gareth. I mean, there's a lot of physical preparation needed, but to be able to keep your focus on high balls and to be able to keep your focus on box kicks and put them in the right spots is really what sets great players apart from other players.
Yeah, it's often that intangible. As you know, playing for the Leicester Tigers in Europe. One of still the only Canadian to ever lifted a European championship, Winston Stanley. Great to have you here in your first gig. And not so great for the Uruguayan forwards, who are being penalized again at the scrum. So I don't know how good the Spanish is from the Scottish referee Lloyd Linton, but he's trying to get something through here, and he's using the captain Bulanti to say it's not acceptable, because that's the 3rd scrum penalty against the front row.
Looks like he's unhappy with some of the binding techniques, which I could tell you nothing about, Gareth.
I'm just sorry that you saw McCrory look to square up for another cross kick, as he did in the previous one, but now he will go to the corner. Not that long. It is something Canada needs to work on. I think if you've been watching the Rugby Championship with New Zealand and South Africa and Argentina, they really maximize their yardage off penalties to gain territory. That's just really like a 15-meter kick from McCrory, and that's not really good enough at this level.
Indeed.
There's Gilmore with possession. Again, the midfield attack. McCrory rebels around.
Lovely ball.
Kay hits the line. The crowd love it. McCrory again touches twice. Beautiful set-piece move. Slowed up by Uruguay. Good footwork from Flag. The offload to Woolridge doesn't go to hand, and now Uruguay will try and counter. Barkwell does really well to shadow. Just buys time and gets a few more defenders to come help out. Barkwell showing a lot of experience there.
Again, we see some very nice enterprise by the Canadian team, making a line break there with a great pass by Daypuck to a looping McCrory.
And just goes for the quick, simple lineup. Barkwell throws it to Bailey, and we got possession. Canada's off and running. There's Woolridge dodging a few tackles. Moore, a little deep in attack. Another low pass, Kay gathers. Canada really asking questions of the Uruguayans all over the place. And there's Blevins. He finds a half hole with a deer-like leap through there. Oh, inside ball from Barkwell. McKenzie's looking for it. It pops out the side. The referee says it's okay, so it will be a turnover for Uruguay. Good work from them on defense.
Ooh.
And a huge hit from Woolridge on Favreau. There's a little bit of fisticuffs off the ball. Just out of your shot, there's a little pushing and shoving, but settling down. So Winston, all go from Canada, and a really nice mix of some of the older players with the touch plays and some big, strong running from some of the younger backs.
Yeah, that was a really nice 10-12 loop there. Centers were held with Blevins taking a hard line, and he was able to hit Gordon around the corner to put Pat Kay into space.
So the call will be knock on, so scrum to Canada. Jamie McKenzie, brother of Phil, who's currently playing over in the UK for Sale. Jamie making a bit of a comeback. The man who's just left, is that UVic? Just down the road, the university. So it's Canada scrum here. The fans have had lots to cheer about so far. Canada currently leading 13 points to 3.
Whoa.
A bit of a mix-up there, more not getting the communication quite right, and Uruguay have pounced on it. Excellent work from Rodrigo Balking. But again, Uruguay kicking possession away. McKenzie's got it. Kay wants it midfield, and he's got it. And he's going long and high and deep, looking to set up a black wall. I guess that's always the risk. Augustin Alonso, this is his third cap for Uruguay, but he put that one down. He'd be disappointed.
I wasn't overly hopeful when Pat put that kick up. You know, it seemed to not put a lot of pressure, but I guess he was a little bit more switched on to the sun behind him, putting some pressure on.
Just picked that up, and you see some of our younger supporters out there. Great to see, supporting the Raiders and Canada. That's an interesting mix. But DHL, Canada's corporate sponsors, good to see them helping the boys out to prepare for the World Cup. But you're right, I just picked it up. The reason Kay did that high ball is there's a really strong sun right at the end of the pitch, right in Uruguay's eyes at the moment. So something Canada will have to deal with in the second half. And referee saying this time Mackenzie's feeding, putting the ball in not straight. So I think at virtually every scrum we've had some kind of infringement. And Uruguay just taking their time to gather.
And that's got to be frustrating both for the players and the fans. Hey, Gareth?
Yes, you know, as backs, all we wanted was ball from the scrum. I know there's a contest that goes on. But as it's a free kick, they chose to put the ball in the air. Seb Ferguson does so well gathering that. Moore wanted it. He knew what his job was, to get back in field. He squared the shoulders. The forwards again, that offload. Olmsted dropped, and Canada penalized for going up the side. So Olmsted took a heavy shot there, Winston.
In my coaching, I really try to discourage inside offloads. I just find you isolate the man, and then there's nobody there to support him.
I think Evan Olmsted might agree with you there, as he took a heavy shot.
But I think that's two now, where we've been in contact, inside offload, and been isolated and turnover.
All right, so this is a full penalty at the end of the half here. And as it ends, Uruguay will choose to kick the ball off the field. They are trailing Canada 13 points to 3 here in Game 2 of the ARC Championship. I'm Gareth Reese with Winston Stanley. Please stay tuned, and we'd love to hear from you. I'm at GReese10, and send us a message what you think of the broadcast. It's great to have you on board. We'll be back with more second half action here. Canada versus Uruguay.
This America's Rugby Championship match is brought to you in part by DHL, Under Armour, the Times Colonist newspaper, Via Sport, This America's Rugby Championship match is brought to you in part by DHL, Under Armour, the Times Colonist newspaper, Via Sport, Langura Fishing Adventures, Maxwell's Clothiers.
Welcome back here to Westhills Stadium in Langford, BC, just north of Victoria. That is the Uruguay team taking the field. They're currently down by 10 points, 13 points to 3 to Canada. It's been a busy first start for Canada, and really in-your-face kind of attitude has paid off for that 10-point lead. I'm Gareth Reese. I'm joined by Winston Stanley. And Winston, you got to be happy with Canada's initial 40 minutes there.
Happy, but I think they probably could have scored a few more tries if they were a little bit more clinical at the offload. I think Uruguay's lucky to only be down 10, and let's hope that second half of the dominance of the first half continues into the second half here.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's great to have you here, and we're glad to be bringing you these pictures and sounds from the ARC. This is, of course, the second game, Canada playing Uruguay. Argentina won earlier today, 41 points to 14 against the USA. And as we just wait to get things underway here, I know that Brian Kelly is down on the sideline. Brian, did you pick up anything from the coaches?
Thank you. I'm on, fellas. Sideline, had a chance to talk with Kieran Crowley heading into the second half here. He told me he wants to keep the ball in hand, keep possession. They have good ball movers, starting with Jamie McKenzie at number 9 and moving into McRory at 10 and outside center to Blevin. So keep the ball in hand, keep moving it, keep spinning it wide, keep attacking with the forwards, and this Uruguay team will keep going on their back foot, and we can get more tries like the Ray Barkle one in the first half. So Canada leading 13-3 here as we have some sloppy play with Canada on possession. Now, Gareth, back over to you.
Thanks, Brian. So a little insight into Kieran Crowley and the coaching Silverthorne, what they're looking for. That kick has gone long, so Uruguay will be able to touch that down. Interesting, Winston, sort of what we were discussing at halftime. Canada want to keep their hands on the ball, keep applying pressure, and not let Uruguay off the hook. Absolutely.
I mean, they're expecting to win this game, and as such, they want to impose their will, and much easier to do that when you're attacking players with the ball in hand. Now, against a stronger team like Argentina, they might need to use their kick a little bit more, but I think they want to establish physical dominance That would be the reason to running the ball.
Well, there's the big man who's carried for a few, Seb Pearson, another London man out there. He's won the collision to another London man. Woolridge with a quick hand, it doesn't come off. It's gathered by Alonso, but that's surely gone forward.
And there's Woolridge again.
Yeah. So just hear the referee there, knock on. So Dozell, the all-around athlete, a man, of course, who not only played rugby in high school, played football at Western. Had a tryout with the Stampeders. Didn't quite work out, so he went off to New Zealand and played his rugby in Otago. So the big Canadian prop. Great to see him back from the Achilles injury he suffered playing in the World Cup qualifiers, and Canada needs a strong Dozell to keep all these guys fighting for the prop positions. There he is on the far side of the scrum. So Uruguay in with a thank you very much to the Uruguayan manager for, I think, taking a pen and putting the number on that jersey.
Yep.
So us commentators know who's got the ball as his number came off early on. But Uruguay scrum. Back to Liechtenstein. Again, choosing to kick. Right in the corner. Kay kicks it back infield. Liechtenstein gathers. He's got some space, but he does decide to go wide. To fly out to the captain. Favreau. Winnie, you played on the wing. Favreau looks like a really exciting player. Just hasn't had any space here, the far side winger.
No, but you know, I did play on the wing quite a bit, and if the ball was kicked to me and I looked up and I saw a prop and a hooker at the end of the defensive line, I'd be pretty excited to have a go at these guys. Yeah. So I think Pat's got to be pretty careful with some of his kicks. Need to be, you know, if he's going to kick it out for field, it's got to stay closer to the sideline to not enable those easy counterattacks.
Yeah, and that poor kick has exposed some of his players who have been deemed to be, I think, offside in the midfield. So a penalty here to that man, Federico Favreau. He did make the earlier penalty, and he's, of course, from that very famous club known for other things other than rugby sometimes, the Old Christians Club, the team, obviously, that was featured in the live film when the plane went down in the Andes, and that historic story of survival and them, that rugby team getting off the mountain and the survivors, and that story they had. So great characters from there we've been able to meet over the years, and you know, great rugby nation, Uruguay.
That club actually hosted the Canadian team one tour down there, and they put on a feed for us, and they had a little question and answer period afterwards.
And no mistake there, straight through the middle. So they'll be happy in the Old Christians, and they'll be happier in the Uruguay camp, as it's 13 points to 6 now. Uruguay only a try away.
But just to finish my story on the Old Christians, I think a question was asked, you know, what happened to your club when you guys came back? And it was really interesting to hear that they went on after that season to win 12 straight championships. That experience bonded them beyond probably anything anybody's been through before, and it showed up in the championships that they ended up winning after that.
Yeah, another great rugby story. But this story is currently Cannon the lead by a try. Good pressure. Uruguay moved it to midfield. Will they look to kick again? One of the issues, the reasons they are kicking is that quite a sun that's dipping right down. It's going to be in the Canadian players' eyes. So we'll see if this becomes a factor later on, as it's really low here in Langford and has made it difficult to catch the ball.
We both had experience catching balls in the sun, and
you
need to be a guru to sort of focus that out and just hold on to every ball. So
yeah, just dropping down behind the trees. So it could be an issue for the back three for Canada, but right now it's not an issue. As Olmsted takes possession, look at that formation, the Canada pack ready to go. Choose to go in the midfield again, sloppy handling. And in fact, a knock on as called by the assistant official on the far side, Chris Asmus.
That's really unfortunate for Derek. He's played quite a forceful game, but I believe that's his third handling error, third turnover, so I'm sure Kieran won't be happy with that.
No, Derek Daypuck, a force in Canadian rugby for many years, 17 full caps, 23 sevens tournaments. Winston, many of those you shared with him. A man who learned his rugby out east, but came out to these parts and has been a really impressive player, and lately winning 4 championships with the Ontario Blues, and he's a big part of that.
Yeah, it was nice to see him you know, readjust his life, go back to Ontario, become a fireman, and then get right back involved in rugby. And I think it shows that maybe this isn't only a young man's game.
Yeah, and a big shout out to all his buddies at Fire Station number 3, the D squad in Hamilton. They obviously cover for him and make it possible for him to chase his dreams in rugby. So thanks to those guys. And let's see if Derek and his teammates can get their hands on the ball and hold on to a bit longer. There's a great scrum. They push him right off the ball. And Olmstead, the man from a little further far, Parramatta, so impressive for the Wolfpack this summer. Again, mishandling between the halfbacks. Corey cleans it up, but they're going backwards. And Blevins with a good step and steps out of the tackle. He needs to offload, as he does, but unfortunately he offloads to Arocena, the fly half from Uruguay. Well, another missed opportunity. Good counter rucking from Canada. The left foot of Liechtenstein is taken quickly. Kay's in midfield. Pearson.
Oh,
good change of pace from Dan Moore. Well, Canada at the left of your screen are just lining up. There's numbers aplenty.
Nobody on defense out here.
Barkwell safely offloads. Blevin immediately there. Canada lucky not to be called off their feet. There it is. You see the blue jerseys in defense, and they kick it through. Referee says play on. So McCrory on his own. He's had enough and kicks it long, long, long. Silva gathering at the back. Not a lot of options for him, so he's going to kick it back, and straight out was the call from the Canadians, and indeed it is. So we'll come all the way back. And Winston, you got to say that combination between McKenzie and McCrory is not working at the moment. The ball's not getting into the right people's hands.
Certainly, and as much as we talked about Uruguay, this being a proving ground for them, trying to make that squad for the World Cup, it's the same for the Canadian team. All these players are on the fringe bubble area and are looking to impress. So I hope they just batten down the hatches a little bit, hold on to their ball, and start to play multiple phases here.
Yeah, you can't, as Uruguay, bring in a few substitutions there, some fresh legs on the field. That was Jimenez coming off. You can't help but if Canada do hold on, but think if Canada hold on to the ball, they will apply pressure and the cracks will start to appear. Right now they're trying some risky offloads and not executing. And there was Evan Olmstead calling the lineout call. Kyle Gilmore, great athleticism as one of his pillars fell away. And there's Evan Olmstead looking hard. And the referee deeming that the arriving players at the ruck are coming in the side.
Yeah, really important to ensure that fair contest of the ball, that players from both sides at a breakdown must come in immediately from behind the ball. And I think all players would agree that that is paramount to a clean breakdown in a fair contest. So unfortunately, Doug Woolridge got penalized there, and
on the line.
Uruguay has earned that penalty.
Arancina getting really a rare moment for Uruguay in this half into the Canadian half. Themselves need to maintain some possession. I got to say that a few of the bodies are looking a bit tired out there. I know they've traveled a long journey. Dolzell steals and cleans up at the front. And advantage to Canada. It was knocked on by Uruguay, and the Uruguayan bench sitting right below us. They don't like it, Winston, but I think there was a knock on at the lineout.
Well, yeah, there was an original knock on, which I don't think the referee indicated too strongly. So then when Canada did knock it on, I thought Uruguay were away, or they felt that, and you know they're doing very well, I think, for a bunch of plucky young guys.
So we got a good wide shot here. We see both sides available to the Canadians. What do you think McKenzie and McCrory are thinking at this stage?
Well, I'm hoping that they attack the blind side here. You know, with the opposing scrum half here, Liechtenstein won't be able to chase around, and if Pearson can put Jamie McKenzie into some space, and I think we'll see Jamie's strength, which is running with the ball and open space.
Yeah, you see the defender in the blue 10 jersey there. He's really all on his own with one winger to defend what's about a third of the field. So that may be what they're looking to exploit.
Now, really important if that's what they want to do, that the Canadian scrum gets a bit of a wheel on, which means that they shove this not quite 90, but maybe 45 degrees left to right. It looks like the wheel's gone opposite the way they want to, which will make it hard for them to attack that side.
And indeed puts pressure on McKenzie as he's turning into his opposing number who deals with him. But Canada, I think, has secured the ball. Using a lot of bodies, though.
Yes. Not quite the platform.
And McCrory in again to 9, puts up a big kick. Pearson's there immediately. He goes high initially, but let's go. The ball's lost backwards. Play on, says the ref. It's all scramble for Uruguay. And the blue jerseys get there. And now they're going to kick and put it in behind. There is no one home for Canada. Check that. McCrory is back in the pocket. And that ball's straight out. The worst law in rugby, in my opinion, Winston. But by the letter of the law, because Gordon McCrory had a foot in touch and that ball was that close to the touchline, it is straight out.
Well said. Well said. It's a technicality.
I don't know any other sport in the world where you can take the ball from in the field of play and make it out of the field of play. It's dreadful. Please change the law. There you go. My soapbox. Back to basics. Ray Barkwell. Solid target. Pearson. McCrory hits Gilmore on the short ball. As we've seen all day, Gilmore not knocked down by the first man. 10 hard yards gained. Uruguay creeping up in defense. Flag is brought down. The ball pops out the side. The ponytail boys there, Olmstead and Pearson, having to clean it up. Barkwell, first receiver. Good hard yard from him. Again, Uruguay resilient in defense and in fact driving back. McKenzie wide, Daypuck, that inside ball to Blevins. They should be listening to you, Winston, because nothing comes of that. In fact, a knock on and possession for Uruguay. Again, they're going to the boot, this time high. McKenzie's covering, he gathers well. Kay's gathering. Norris come in very tight on him. He's isolated. Can he get some support there? Flag gets there and goes off his feet, but he's not on penalized. Well done, McCrory, showing the ball. Blevins gets the offload. Pearson in midfield. Open field. Not held. He's able to get up.
Looks like they have numbers out there, Gareth.
Woolridge plays the short ball, and Kay goes with a ridiculous flick on, which costs Canada all its momentum. Regroup. There's some tired bodies on both sides at the moment. McCrory looking to ship it wide. It goes to no one. Ferguson not able to clean it up. And finally knocked on. Advantage being played, so Gilmore says, I'll have one more shot at knocking you down, which he's done all day. Canada has possession. It's just been an extended period of play. There's some tired bodies out there. Gilmore acting at scrum half. He hits McCrory. He chips it in behind, and the referee says advantage over as he does it. McKenzie's won the ball, played it on the ground and got away with it. Moore's pushed it wide, and Pearson's left it behind. So frantic stuff. As a coach, Winston, maybe not how you draw it up all the time.
No, I mean, it was really nice to see McCrory jump in there at 9 on a breakdown and make a little break. He looks quite dangerous with ball in hand. I'd like to see him maybe attack the line a little bit more as a 10 and look for himself as an option.
Right now, I wonder with the youngster Giuseppe Dutoit on the bench if maybe they'll make that decision. In fact, oh, look at me. They've actually doing that. McCrory's gone up to 9. It looks like McKenzie's coming off the field, and Patrick Parfrey has come in as first receiver in the fly-half position. So
Gilmore's stolen another one off the lineout.
Barkwell wisely doesn't pick that ball up as he was offside. Knocked on at the lineout is the call. Still some pushing and shoving. That's Ignacio Dotti for the Uruguayans, and I think Gordon McCrory was not happy. The man from Sterling, I think, was pushing back. Maybe he took a shot there.
And Olmstead. I mean, Uruguay can't be happy with Canada stealing all of their lineout ball.
Yeah, they haven't executed the basics. They're bringing on Manuel Blenino, substitute in that pack. As they say, these Uruguayan players have traveled, arriving this week. They have 2 more games as part of the ARC Championship here. Of course, they play their rivals Argentina on Wednesday night. Canada plays the US, and then on the final day, it's Canada and Argentina. So,
what do you think Pat Parfrey is going to bring to this game?
He's played really well for the Rock as part of the CRC Championship. He likes to play flat. He's got a good skill set. He's a strong runner. Another penalty at scrum there. The Uruguayan not holding on, pulling down at scrum. Parfrey, he manages a game well. That's his strength, I think, and he can make a break. Doesn't maybe have the top end speed, but yeah, he's a smart head and a good commander out there.
It's nice to see Pat Parfrey come through in the ranks. As most of you fans will probably know, his father was a coach for Gareth and I for a few years.
I felt very old as McCrory's going to line this kick up to try and extend this lead. I found out that, I don't know if you were playing in this game over in Lansdowne Road against Ireland. There was a young boy, Patrick's son, Coach Pat Parfrey's son, was brought as his birthday treat, and it was a 6-year-old boy who is now Patrick Parfrey, who's playing number 10 for Canada. So it made me feel a little bit old when I found out he was one and the same. But the great rugby family out there, they had a nice moment, I know, at the end of the ARC, saluting Ben Vaughn, a mother of the family, and how so much support she's given to not only the brothers Kevin, Brendan, and Owen, but the whole rugby community out there. And Gordon McCrory with a good strike off the top of the post, still alive. So a really clean strike there, but just hanging out too far right.
Didn't seem to see any hard chasers on that kick, Gareth, which should probably concern the coaching staff here.
Yeah.
For that very eventuality.
Ball's gone straight into touch. In fact, a very good kick from the Uruguayans. So it'll be a Canada line out again. Yeah, you don't want to insult the kicker by setting up to chase, thinking he's not going to make it, but you do have to be professional and get there. So those are little things that these Canadian players can pick up on and learn.
Yes, that's usually wingers' work.
Hold, stay on.
Chase those kicks.
Barkwell to Gilmore again. Oh, I think Daypuck wanted to move that ball. The Uruguayans aren't happy. The referee is clear as day. He's going to his pocket. I, again, don't see it. I just don't see it as a dangerous dump tackle. He's gone red. He's gone red. Yeah.
That is...
This is a disease in our game. He was not trying to injure the player. It was awkward, no question. I don't know if we'll get a chance to look at it again. But the letter of the law, he's got to put that man down safely. So Canada will be one advantage for the rest of this game. Uruguay.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Gareth. I didn't see the intent. Have a look here. It looked to me that he was
in New York
flying through the mountains. But it looked like he was actually down on a knee making that tackle. And
yeah.
But as a referee, I suppose you got to lay down the law. And fortunately for Uruguay,
there's definitely sorry, Winston. There's definitely some flashpoints with the global referees at the moment. Things that are just forcing them to reach to the pocket without really interpreting what's going on. Again, Canada securing good possession in the middle of the lineout. Barco's got his hands on it at the back. They're trying to form a drive. But Uruguay have illegally come through to steal that ball. Advantage being played for Canada. There's Parfrey with the chip through.
Lovely.
Will they get a bounce? No, they won't. Well covered by the captain, Bulanti. He couldn't hang on to it. Otherwise, he might have been off to the races. The referee's going to come all the way back for that penalty at the Driven Mall where Uruguay were coming in the side.
It'll be interesting to see if Canada wants 3 points here, or if they're going to try to attack quickly and score some tries here. I think they and the fans' deaths really want to see some tries here.
Yeah, I think given they wanted the points a few minutes ago, it'd be an argument to do it again. But no, the left-footed will come in. That to me is a strange decision when they take on a kick from 40 meters. Because they want that cushion. They're only a try ahead at the moment. And then over this side, 2 minutes later, they don't want the cushion now. Something's changed, and that means they're not really clear on their strategy. But here we go. This was the tackle. Clean possession. Goes behind from Parfrey. Daypuck has it. Good possession, good body position. And you know what? I really don't think it was the force of the Uruguayan player, Freitas, that caused him to tip up, and it definitely wasn't a dangerous landing.
It was momentum that, forced that, and I think those red cards should be handed out only when you pick a guy up and drive him down on his neck.
And if anything, Daypuck possibly jumped into the tackle a little bit because of the height of the pass. Well, Canada driving away, 10 meters out. They formed the maul, but it's been disrupted. It's now a ruck, and indeed it'll be Uruguay ball, and you hear the shouts from the Uruguay players.
You know, in the meantime, 2 players have come on as substitutes. We've got Nanyak Dalla, a 7 stalwart, and it's been a long time Canada player on the flank, and Pete Houlihan from the Prairie Fire has come onto the front row to probably earn his debut for a Canadian team.
Yeah, the man from Edmonton Druids being rewarded for his work with the Prairie Wolfpack. And good to see him out there. And of course, Nanyak Dalla, a solid servant, the 30-year-old Castaway Wanderers via Saskatoon and Natal.
Immediately making his presence felt.
Dalla, of course, missing the 15s matches for Canada this summer through injury, so he's dying to get back out there. And Uruguay kicking. Ferguson looking for the quick one, but it wasn't to be. So really Uruguay not offering a great deal at the moment. Some solid defense there.
Yeah.
But in attack, just kicking, I would have to say, Winston, more than 60% of their ball away.
Easily. And I think Canada is going to want to try to, they're looking a little frustrated to me. They look like they really want to go, and I think they just need to hold on to the ball to do that.
There's a fake at the front, and then they come back to the front again. Through Pearson. Now the midfield. Ferguson in space. He's not held. He rolls. Well, the Uruguayan defense is very tight, as you can see there. If Canada can get any kind of width on this ball, they're going to have opportunities. But they won't because they're holding on to it at the ruck.
It's just another inside pass, really. But, you know, credit to Uruguay there. The initial tackler did his job, but then the next guy got right in on that ball and got low enough that he wasn't pushed off immediately. So I think that was a well-earned penalty on their part, and Canada will have another chance here as it's Uruguay's line out to hopefully steal one.
As Captain Gilmore went up to ask the referee what the problem was, and he shooed him away. But I think that's really, you're looking for that level of communication. If Canada's getting penalized against the run of play, and the referee's already reached fairly rashly, in our opinion, for a red card, you do want your captain communicating, finding out what the problem is, so they can play within his interpretations. Canada having to pull a man out of the line out. This time, good possession from Alonso in the middle. Uruguay set up the maul. Now it goes down into a ruck. Well, that's not coming.
That's encouraging to see. You know, Uruguay finally gets a line out, clean possession. They try their best to do a drive, and what happens? They get stuffed immediately by the Canadian pack. So that's going to feel good for those guys.
Yeah, and Evan Olmsted right at the bottom of that. We mentioned the man from Parramatta 2 Blues. He's born in Vancouver. His dad, obviously a great Capilano. He's missed by that club. This is Olmsted played for New South Wales under 17s, Sydney Reps, and then Canada under 20s. So he's making a bid for a Canada position in the World Cup year. And very much, although Winston always got a trace of an accent Australian, he feels very much 100% Canadian and really is committed to this cause.
He's a beauty. This is the first time I've seen him play, and he's done everything right so far.
There you go. Parfrey around this time on the loop. Extra set of hands. Kay gathering on his back shoulder. A poor pass from Moore. McCrory in it. Scrum half. Putting up the box kick. Well gathered and well kicked. A great kick, in fact, from Silva. Daypuck back all by himself. He's waiting for that to go into touch. And let's give credit to this man, Francisco Bulanti, the captain from Trebol Rugby Club. He's got 17 caps for Uruguay, and things haven't really gone their way so much here. But he has not quit right from the start. He's sticking up for his players. He's working hard. And what a great one-on-one tackle there on Derek Daypuck.
Incredibly feisty, these Uruguayans. I encountered them so many times in 7s and 15s.
Yeah.
And there is no quit in these guys. they just keep going, and that's something you just have to respect. So
really annoying to play against, which is
terribly annoying.
Which is a credit, you know, in the international game. You know, teams that make it hard for you to play. That's part of what it's all about.
It does also make it a bit rewarding when you come out with the result.
Canada precariously posed with the result, up by 7 points, but it's Uruguay driving. The ball's up, it's being mauled. They're 3 meters from the line. Canada put it down. The referee's in goal position, but it doesn't look like Uruguay will get there. It pops out Canada's side, and McCrory clears. So for the moment, as that ball goes into touch, 15 meters out, it will be a quick throw-in. Blevins makes the tackle on Silva. And line out Canada.
Oof. That was close. Nanyak Dalla did incredibly well to seal around and get that ball out of the Uruguayans' hands and present it back to our side. Great impact for him.
You know, that we've played with a few guys over the years that really had that touch, but Nanyak Dalla gets it. He understands the breakdown. I think he takes a lot from his sevens game, but he is superb at the breakdown and is vital for Canada's needs going forward.
Yes. Yeah, we did play with some good ball poachers in our day. Gordy McKinnon comes to mind.
Yeah. Kyle Bailey looks like he's taking a shot there after he gathered the ball. And there's some pushing and a penalty against Uruguay. I wonder if Bailey may have even taken a punch there. Yeah, you see number 5 off to the left of your screen. He's not looking very good. He's been immense today. The man from Summerside, PEI. I know they're very proud of him there.
Oh, they've missed touch here, Gary.
As the ball's still in play. The other winger, that's Favaro, stepping out of the tackle. He spills it. But Canada, we're not releasing the tackler. And Ray Barkwell, it's hard not to be guilty when you're the man sitting on the player who's carrying the ball.
I've just been impressed with Barkwell's work rate today. Every time there's a play, he seems to be in the middle of it, whether it out wide, whether in the middle. Barkwell has got one of the motors which rugby coaches covet so much.
Well, Winston, for the purists, that was just an awesome kick to the corner by the Uruguayan fly-off, old school spiral, putting Canada right back on the defensive. So a penalty even in that position. The score 13-6 for Canada. One try will do it here for Uruguay to get back in level.
Yeah, I know. I think during the break you were talking about maximizing penalty kicks for distance, and Uruguay just did exactly that.
Unfortunately, that's been too often the case as Dalla's into space.
Oh, nice.
Great handoff. The turn of pace he brings to it. He's lucky not to be penalized there. In fact, Uruguay's penalized. I'm not sure, Winston. I'm a Canadian fan, but I think Nanyak Dalla was a little bit isolated there for a second.
Absolutely, but you know what he did was he held on to the ball. I think there was an offload option there, Gareth, and he decided, oh, I've seen enough of that, and I'm going to hold on to the ball. And no, I mean, the referee didn't call the initial holding on, so I think that was very well done for Nanyak.
And let's give credit to these Uruguayans playing one short. Of course, they had a man after a second dump tackle infringement sent off the field, so they're playing with 14 men. Try indeed is what Canada needs, or an upside down try will do. As only 7 points in it, the reserves are coming on the field here. James Smith on for Doug Woolridge, and at hooker, great to see him back in a Canada jersey. The Capilano man, Ryan Hamilton, after some injury issues, recovered, back, ready to compete for a World Cup spot. He'll be throwing in here, number 16. Well done, Ryan. There he goes to Bailey again. Dalla, midfield, hard yards. McCrory, quick ball. This is good stuff from Canada. Blevins loses it out of the tackle. Good pressure there from James Smith.
Oh, Dalla.
Dalla, what a tackle and a steal.
Oh, what a play.
Not going to produce, I think it would have produced a try.
The rarest of plays, Gareth, that smash and steal. You don't see that very often.
Look at that. He hit him, he stole it, and it was a 2-on-1 here. Gilmore was going to put Daypuck, and I think even Daypuck at 36 was going to run that one in. But the referee rightly comes back for an infringement. It's going to be a knock-on by Black. So After Blevins' knock-on, he was playing advantage that didn't come for the Uruguayans.
And that's well played advantage, I think, from the referee.
Yeah, yeah.
You give the team a chance to have a go, and if it doesn't come to anything, you call it back. So Lloyd's got that one right.
So a whole new front row in here for Canada. Hamilton, Houlihan, and Smith. Uruguay too, with 2 freshmen in there. So often the case. Just a few minutes remaining here. 13 points to 6 for Canada. Uruguay scrum. Let's see if they choose to attack a little bit wider. They are, of course, 1 short again. Canada drives them right off.
Hey, nice scrum.
And the penalty arm goes up as they were under pressure, and the knowledgeable crowd here in Victoria knows. And that pats go on the head for the front row boys. And wow, they're going to have a shot from 45 where they just turned one down from about 25.
Well,
so
they've just got to be excited, those new front row guys, to get in there at this crucial juncture of the game and produce such a solid scrum. I know Houlihan very well, and he's going to be there'll be something to talk about with him after the game.
Yeah, and James Smith came in there, the Shoalhaven RFC product from Australia near Adelaide. Great to see him in fighting for a Canadian Test jersey. His hometown is Calgary now, born in Toronto. And Cole Jeffs is responsible for bringing him up to the Prairie Wolfpack to get some game. And the fans have had a lot of rugby here at Tri-Fest. There is the future DeGoody and the former Steph White, the women's players, future and past. Great times for our women's rugby program. Gordon McCrory stepping up, 45 meters out, just 5 meters in from the touchline. A difficult kick, but given where the last one hit the post, he probably has the distance.
It looks like it's coming up a little bit short, Gareth.
I jinxed him.
And that's a nameless kick. Let's hope we can counter on that.
Parfrey wants it midfield, as does Gilmore. Oh, he has been immense. There's numbers. If Canada can move it through the hands, the scrum half is tackled. The referee is going to call it. And I wonder if he's going to say it cynically. He's not. McCrory's tap and go off. He's met immediately. Another kickable penalty turned down there, Winston. But Canada playing. Parfrey with a poor scrum half pass.
I think that's whose hands we want on the ball, Olmstead.
Ooh. Well,
he's clearly
Uruguayan bench doesn't like it, do they?
He's clearly off his feet. I don't know what they're arguing about.
The 2 wingers having to go. Handbags at dawn. Sean Ferguson and Federico Favaro.
Oh, yeah, that was cynical. He was lying down on the ground, hands all over the ball.
And in that case, he wasn't holding his feet. So for the rest of this match, Uruguay will be 2 men short. Daypuck pushing that ball to the 22-meter line. Well, despite all the advantage, whether it's 2 men extra or the momentum or the possession, Canada's still not putting points on the board.
No, not yet. We've got a replacement, Admir Sajenovic from Burnaby Lake. Been a very strong club player for the last few years. One of the keys to their tremendous club success, and it's good to see him getting a crack with the national team, you know, putting in his bid for the 2015 World Cup. And really, Gareth, I think that's what this tournament is about. As well as winning games, it's about giving guys that aren't used to this level certain experiences to see if they're ready for the upper levels.
Yeah, and in front of the home crowd, as we saw there, Uruguay to throw in at the line out.
There's Olmstead again.
Olmstead up in front of it. There's an opening there. Yeah, Bailey saw it. He's off and running. He's brought down. 10 meters out. McCrory to Parfrey. Midfield hit up to Hamilton. Doesn't go to hand. And Uruguay are off and running. That's Alonso. Uruguay have men to the top of your screen. It goes behind.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, the crowd love it. They haven't heard the referee's whistle. He's bringing it back.
Back for the knock-on.
So Moore finally gets a bounce out there. But they're going to come back to the initial knock-on. Excellent refereeing, to be fair.
Excellent.
Hamilton did lose it in the tackle, and this is the ruck just before. Uruguay deciding that it was advantage to take a bit of a risk here. They went behind, and really good pressure from Canada, and well read there by Parfrey. So Uruguay still not out of it. They're 15 meters out. All day we've had penalties at scrum time.
You can hear the crowd getting into it a little bit, Gareth.
Yeah, they want blood, but I think they want points more than anything. Canada has had a problem closing out matches. The senior team this summer not winning, not getting that winning attitude, and this is exactly what we're talking about. Uruguay have provided nothing in the second half, but they're still hanging around, only 7 points adrift. And there it is. Oh my goodness, a quick tap. It's
Nice.
gonna pay off.
Well done, Kyle Gilmore.
Kyle Gilmore gets the try. Nanyang Dal is on hand to provide it, and Gordon McCrory. So delight for the players on the field, delight for the crowd. Finally, try indeed for Canada, and Winston, a risky maneuver, but it paid off.
Yeah, really well taken by Gordon there, recognizing some numbers on the right, and fortunate that he had such an experienced sevens player in Nanyang there to draw and put away the captain, who well-deserved try for him. He's had a tremendous game.
And that moment, not because of that moment, just because of an immense work rate throughout, leading by example, putting some of these young players on his back. That earns Kyle Gilmore, number 7 red, the man of the match award here for Canada in this ARC match. Congratulations to him from St. Albert. An immense performance from the captain, and rewarded by a try there at the end.
I think we've seen Gordon McCrory lift his game a little bit since he's gone to 9, and certainly a good attacking option there. And he looks more comfortable as far as taking on defenses. And
I know the coaches, Moffat and Silverthorne, and of course Kieran Crowley, like players who are willing to take risks. But as McCrory stucks that one through the middle to extend the lead to 20 points to 6 for Canada. To say, had McCrory, then not paid off, McCrory had a kick right in front of the post to extend the 7-point lead to 10. 2 scores for Uruguay, and that would have been a big mistake. But as they scored, they're now in control and in the commanding 2-try lead.
I think if this was a final on Sunday, that would have been a 3-point kick. But
well, let's hope. But
they are looking to score some tries, and probably been a little frustrated so far. So,
well, interesting decision with only 13 Uruguayans on the field. Parfrey choosing to kick long, and again, something they'll have time to analyze. McCrory working to get back, offloads to Daypuck, who uses Clay Panga on the field as a substitute. Big selection for him, the Calgary Hornet, and once Velox man, now CW man. Oh, it actually went off blue, and I think it's going to be a Canada throw-in. Oh. No, referee Asmus is deeming otherwise, and the young fans delighted to finally see Canada get a true try lead.
Sure.
But as we said, Clay Panga on the field as substitute.
Now, is Clay Panga on the wing right now?
That was talked about, that he was going to be used on the wing. Canada a little bit short of some back 3 players, 1 or 2 players down in the Gold Coast at the sevens. So Panga, his athleticism being rewarded by a spot on the wing. Nanyang Dall's got his hands on that, and it's legal.
Tremendous steal. Oh, nice
Straight hands will do it. Blevins. Wow. I didn't see that one, Winston, but referee was in good position. The crowd didn't like it.
No, I didn't see it either, but again, Nanyang Dalla right in the middle, right in the thick of things, turning ball over, doing a great job.
No substitute for that kind of wiliness. Playing the edge of the law, knows what the referee's expectations are.
I think I see a 4-man backline here, Gareth.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen before.
Uruguay 2 men short. They have to complete the scrum numbers. So not a lot of options available to them. but they're still fighting. That's what you'd expect. They've actually had more possession with 2 men off the field than they have in the first 20 minutes of this half. But
that's a nice tackle there.
Substitute loses a boot and loses his support, so he's isolated. But the referee says Canada did not let go of the tackler. Well, full credit to Uruguay. They're bringing it at the moment. They're trying to carry. They're trying to create something to get back in this game. But again, between Dalla and Olmsted, that ball's been poached.
Tremendous steal there by Olmsted. It's a real
bodies off their feet here. And Uruguay have stolen it back again. So not the clinical performance both coaches are looking for. Uruguay trying desperately to find a hole in the Canadian defense. That's Kessler. That's the substitute, Echeverry, a famous name in rugby. And finally they've had enough to chip over the top. Oh, and a sort of a soccer type collapse from the kicker off screen, but it will be Canada. Moore with his hands on the ball. That one maybe should have gone. Oh, he's lucky to get away with that. Panga out the back door. Great stuff. Parfrey to Blevins. He holds on to it. Oh, well, he's called Smith for going off his feet, but there was a Uruguayan player who just flopped on the ball before that. This is getting crazy. Uruguay trying to up the tempo. Canada have a man down behind the scenes, so it's 13-on-14 at the moment. Echeverry, good offload to Scarnati. Bailey stole it fair and square on the ground, but it's intercepted by the skipper. He ducks out of a tackle. Bulanti exhausted there in his run. And 2 Canada players off their feet. It allows Uruguay to tap and go. Echeverry trying to offload. The flanker, Alonso. Still the whole time, Moore is down, injured, out of the play. So if ever Uruguay is going to get back into it, it's 13-on-14. And they are coming back onto the injured player there. Therapist doing well to get out of the way. Scrappy stuff, but inspired stuff from Uruguay. They're throwing everything at it. And that'll be a turnover. And that will be full time. So desperate at the last moments. 20 points for Canada, 6 for Uruguay. And Winston Stanley, your thoughts on an important Canada win?
The win was important for sure, but I don't think there will be too many smiles going around the room tonight when they dissect that game film. I think clinical would not be a word used to describe the performance, but you know, there were some nice performances by the substitutes. Naniak was inspirational when he came on. Nice to see Clay Pango, the first time he touched the ball, draw 2 defenders and put somebody away. So there were moments, but something certainly to work forward from, and let's hope we see a bit more of a clinical game on Wednesday.
And as ever, you see the handshakes, always a part of our great game. The end of the first day here at the America's Rugby Championship. Canada joining Argentina with a win. Uruguay, a famous day for them down in Montevideo. Not so much here in Langford, where they dropped their first ARC game, but they showed a lot of spirit. And despite getting the wrong side of the referee, they didn't quit, and that's what you'd expect from these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not going to be too disheartened from this squad.
Yeah, and great to see, sorry Winston to cut you off, but you see Nicolas Freitas, the man who was sent off, actually having a chat with Derek Daypuck saying, hey, I didn't mean to dump you. I wasn't trying to injure you, and I think it's a fair shout. But that's a side story in this one because Canada win it. Great to see some players coming back off injury, the likes of Dozell and Hamilton, putting their hands up in this World Cup year. I'm sure Kieran Crowley will be happy with the result, and then we'll throw it down to Brian.
Scrum half for Canada, 20-6. What can you say about your team's performance today?
You know, we've spent about a bit of time together, so it's expecting the jitters. A lot of guys' first game at this level, but there's some really good things that we saw. A couple things we need to work on. We got the W, which is the big thing, and you know, we're just going to look to the next game and try to build off this one.
Big North American rivalry, Canada-USA Wednesday night. Lost last year to them. What do you guys need to do to win this year?
I think it speaks for itself. Like, U.S. versus Canada, it is what it is. It's huge. The boys are going to be fired up. We're looking forward to it, and it's just going to be a battle. We're going to have to throw our bodies on the line, and it's going to be pretty intense.
Tell me what it's like playing here at Westhills Stadium at the home of Canadian rugby with the fans cheering you on.
Well, it's a good little intimate stadium. They put the new seats in, and we always get great support filling the stands, and especially when it gets pretty loud, it really fires all the boys up. But yeah, it's an awesome place to play in. So small and compact that any kind of noise really gets everybody going, so it's pretty awesome.
Thanks, Jamie. All the best on Wednesday. Thanks very much, guys. We are finished here from Westhills Day 1 of the IRB America's Rugby Championship. Argentina victorious over the USA Selects, and Canada 20-6 over Uruguay. And all the games on Day 2, October 15th, will also be streamed live on rugbycanada.tv. Thank you very much for tuning in here tonight. Get your tickets at events.rugbycanada.ca and come join us here in Westhills for the rest of the ARC action. Thanks very much for watching.
That's what I just learned that today. So like